In the world of luxury mid-size SUVs, you have a few options. You have your BMW X3 M40i, you got your Mercedes AMG GLE 43, or what George from Audi in Clearwater has given us, the 2022 Audi SQ5 in your glacier white. We have the Prestige package, we got the S Sport package, the dynamic steering package, the black optic package, all the bells and whistles you would want for this handsome styling on the exterior, performance underneath the hood, luxury appointed interior known from the Audi brand, the rich tech, luxury, and performance is going hard against BMW and Mercedes. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Ride, so we're gonna go over all the specs and details, starting now. Audi tweaked the single frame grille back in 2021. The black optic package is going to blacken out the honeycomb. We have the Audi black rings and the badging kit as well. So it's going to give more of a sporty heritage, especially in the front fascia. It looks super aggressive. It's a wide stance. The attitude that looks out is sculpted. So it gives a three-dimensional look. Because of that Prestige package, we're going to receive matrix LED headlamps, new bumpers for 2021, the stance at 74.5 inches and a height of 65.5 inch. Spoiler, you still have clearance of 8.2 inches, so you could go over anything. And again, this is a sport spec SUV. So to get that high of ground clearance, it's kind of a playful attribute, because when you're going into BMW for the X3 M40i or even the Mercedes AMG GLC 43, it's not going to be as tall as this one, but the aggressive styling, because we have the packages in the front with that matrix on the headlamps, it's going to set it apart and really distinguish the brand, especially on the hood. You just have enough aerodynamics that taper into these fenders that cover these 21-inch 5V spoke design bicolor wheels. Audi Sport on the wheels, the red brake calipers because of that S Sport package, 13.8 inches ventilated disc reading, 13 inches ventilated on the rear. Audi adaptive damping with that S-tuned adaptive air suspension. Now with this, you're going to also receive quattro rear differential, which allows the torque to be distributed to each wheel, because wheels can spin at different speeds. The differentials are left open. This way, when the car is turning, the outside wheels can rotate faster than the inside ones. A length at 184.3 inches, a wheelbase at 111 inches. The styling cues are going to look nice and aggressive, especially on the lower skirt. You're going to get the blacked out, and on the side view mirror caps, all of the window treatment blacked out, as well as your roof rails, so that way you have that appearance, because again, this is the SQ5. You really want it to stand out, so get the black optic package. So that way, it gives you those little touches, and all the lines are nice and clean, no fake vents, wrap around LED tail lamps, got a lower roof spoiler. The black gloss is going to cover the window trim on the side. You're gonna have the matte black on the lower trim with the grille design inserts and the gloss black over it, and the side sill that's non-functional, but it still serves that sporty heritage. A 360-degree reverse camera and your reverse parking sensors. 4,400 pounds of towing, which matches the BMW X3 M40i. It's more than the Mercedes AMG GLE 43. Going inside to your cargo is going to start at 25 cubic feet. Because we have the air suspension, you can lower and raise the height in the rear to make it easier for you to load. We have a 12 volt. The rear bench splits at a 40-20-40 split, maxing the cargo to 53 cubic feet. BMW will have the most storage. This will be the second, and the Mercedes will be the third. But when we have an exhaust that we pay a little bit more, so we get some more pops out of that turbocharge, we got to go inside, start it so we can hear it. The Audi SQ5 definitely sets an appearance on the exterior, and I like how it sits a little bit lower. The air suspension is definitely going to give you a little bit better clearance as well than the Mercedes and the BMW, and Audi backs the performance with a 3.0 liter V6 TFSI turbocharged, producing 349 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission or a Tiptronic, 0 to 60 around 5.1 seconds, quarter mile around 13 seconds flat. Top speed between 130 and 150 miles per hour, and achieving 19 to 24 mpgs. It will not necessarily be the most power when you're comparing it to BMW or Mercedes, but the styling cues, you have the ride clearance so you don't have to worry about anything if going over speed bumps, and you have the performance to back it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Audi SQ5 as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Audi SQ5, you're going to receive 38.1 inches of headroom, 40.9 inches of legroom. It's a magma red leather wrapped with the honeycomb design, S in the seats, contrast stitching, 12-way power adjustment for both of them with your manual cushion extension, heated. So you're going to get the S badging pretty much everywhere. Right here in the center next to your gear lever, you're going to get the contrast stitching in red. I like the black gloss that's there, an area for your key fob. You got a little storage area that you can put your camcorder, and another area for your cell phone with the USB at 12 volt. The infotainment screen is a 10.1 MMI touch response. So we have navigation and we got the pinch. We have the swipe. Has your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity. Swiping over so you can see everything that we have. Click into the vehicle settings here. That can go into your Audi Drive Select, so you can just change everything. You can go into your individual mode, so you can actually set everything, the drive, suspension, steering, and even the engine sound, which I think is pretty cool. Click back into there and you have your driver assist, so you can see all the safety features in which we have in the vehicle. Switch it to reverse, you have full trajectory. Click on the lower screen and you can change the different options for the camera positioning, which there is a ton of them as you can see. Click on the right side and you can go for your parallel and perpendicular parking, so it makes it relatively easy for anything in that nature. The dashboard is going to be modern. We have the heads-up display, Quattro badging in front of the passenger with the simulated carbon fiber inlays, and you got the silver that wraps around more or less the whole dash. I do like the setup because it's very sport derived. S-Sport steering wheel, you got the perforated leather with the soft leather on the top and bottom, heated, multi-function, 3-spoke. Looking at that gauge cluster, it's Audi Virtual Cockpit, 12.3 inches. You can make the screen bigger or smaller. You can change the viewpoints as well. You can scroll to make that navigation go closer or further away from you. And I like this setup because it's very tech savvy. Try climate control settings. The cup holders are heated and ventilated. You can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle without any issues. I'd say at 20 ounces max. You can slide that to have a little tray. Open up inside here to some more storage and another USB-C port. Elbows are going to be a little bit more sporty and firm. As for the door panel, harder materials on the top, simulated carbon fiber inserts, memory for the driver. One touch up and down for all the windows. The front windows, they're dual pane. Storage, you can easily fit, I would say, 4 or 5 16.9 ounce water bottles. The best part, we have the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system, 755 watts, 19 speakers with the pano roof. Let's see how I look in the back. In the back seats, I got 39.3 inches of headroom, 38 inches of legroom. I can fit without too many issues. You have storage behind both of the front seats. The center is going to have your central air vents, your third climate control, heated rear seats, 2 USB, and a 12 volt. It is not a complete flat floor, so it might be a little bit tough, which we'll see in a second, for me to sit in the center. Elbows are going to be really soft in the center. Door panel a little bit more firm drive. With that upgraded Bang & Olufsen, you're going to have it in the back as well. You got that simulated carbon fiber, one touch up and down. In storage, you could probably fit about 2 or 3 16.9 ounce water bottles. So comparing the front and the rear to BMW and to the Mercedes, it's pretty close neck and neck, but you know, let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is no issue. Legroom, I'm pretty much against the back of the front seats in the position that I'd be in. I'm blocking the central vents and everything that's in the center. As for space, I'm going to be sharing shoulder space. The butt space isn't actually too bad because the seats are a little bit wider in the back, especially if you're going to compare it even to the Genesis G70. You're going to have a little bit more width for the back of this. But having two in the back seat is definitely going to be more pleasurable. The door panels are not too raised up, so you don't necessarily feel like you're encased in the car. You do feel a little higher up even in the back, and you sit just a touch higher than you do in the front. Taking the 2022 Audi SQ5 out for our test run. We're going to start off at a red light so that way you can really see the performance underneath the hood of this vehicle. It compares to a lot of vehicles as well. We do have it in dynamic so we can really see how throaty that 6-cylinder is. Turbocharged, it should be good, right around 350 horsepower, almost 370 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 around 5 seconds, give or take, and that's pretty quick considering the vehicle is around 4,300 pounds. So you have to take these things in consideration. This vehicle does compare to a lot. So even the GV70 from Genesis is comparable to this vehicle, especially if you do the twin turbo engine. It's right on point with it. Comparing it to the BMW M40i, Mercedes AMG GLC 43. As soon as this light turns green, and here we go, guys. We're going to give her a little gas, see how well she performs, and here we go. And it sounds really composed. It's not as throaty as you would have anticipated, but it does have a good note. As you get up to a higher speed, the car stays really quiet as well. So I do like the fact that that happens. The torque, as you saw the camera, it does push it back a little bit. But I mean, the driving dynamics is good. As you can see, it stays relatively planted as well. As for going over any impurities in the road, it soaks it up pretty good at a higher speed, obviously. At a lower speed, you're going to feel a little bit more of the bumps, but the ground clearance is the best in this. It's almost 2 inches more than the Mercedes. It's about 1 inch, give or take, more than the BMW. And these are nice attributes because this is a performance-styled SUV, and you typically sit a lot lower to the ground. We do have that adaptive suspension, so that way it can adjust too. And it's a nice thing because when it's adjusting, it keeps that comfort level, so you just glide over anything. And I mean, anytime you push it, you just go, as you can see. It literally has a huge hit to it, and I would say that the RPM kind of hits at more around the 2.5, give or take. That's the only thing that, you know, it has to spool up. Once it does, it just livens up. And I mean, you can get to point A to point B fast with a lot of luxury in this class. Brakes, absolutely no problems, as you can see. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike, because anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about the vehicle, on the exterior styling, when you get the black optic package, they literally pay attention to every single detail, blackening out. You obviously have to pay to get the Audi rings blacked out, but when you do both of the packages, every single detail is sculpted to a very nice sporty flair. The second thing that I like about it is how smooth the ride is, and you can hear the cracks of that turbo whenever you slow down. So it gives you that performance styling, plus you got the luxury of just gliding. 12-way power adjustments. I wish that was a little bit more, because when you go again the GV70 for Genesis, you're going to get 16-way power adjustments. The third thing that I like about it is you have the latest tech and safety with it. On top of that, when you push the gas and you release it, you can hear the cracks of that turbocharge. So it just reminds you, this is still a performance-driven vehicle. Even though it's super quiet in the cabin, they still give you a taste of that exhaust, which is kind of what you want. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is I wish that they had more power seat adjustment. Yes, you have your cushion extensions, but it's manual. It's not power adjustment. When you get into BMW, when you get into Mercedes, they start having a more of a 14 to 16-way power adjustment as well. The things that I like, just to throw over here, and look at that, going on the interstate, not an issue. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is in the price point that we're at, we still have a lot of harder materials on the top part that's surrounding the whole cabin. The good thing is in the rear, they don't completely strip it like they do in other models. So when you get into BMW, Mercedes, or even Genesis, in some cases, depending on the tier you get, the back seat, you'll start losing some of those soft materials and it'll go back to the firm materials. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the front has a lot of areas for air vents and a lot of it's closed off. So it looks a lot more aggressive and sporty and mean, which is nice. It's just a lot of it is closed off and it's just an aesthetic look. When you start getting into performance line vehicles, you really want those things opened up. I get it. It obviously doesn't need the airflow to go anywhere, but don't put fake vents. Just leave it nice and rounded off. Give it some nice curvatry for the aerodynamics. Now, the 0 to 60 is not going to be the fastest comparing it against any of the brands in which I've been talking about. However, the ride comfort, I think, is going to be one of the most smooth riding vehicles, especially for a long journey or a day in and out of traffic. This particular car, really, with the S Sport package, you feel super smooth and you still have enough power. I mean, anything in 5 seconds, 0 to 60 is super fast. Most cars nowadays get like 7 seconds. And you're gonna get optimal gas consumption as well because it's a 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. So you do have the luxury amenities and you do have the oomph to go forward. The windscreen is nice and big. Blind spots, you got the blind spot monitoring right inside on the side view mirror caps. As for looking around, you can actually see everything. There's not really any blind spots and it's not that long where you have to worry about it. When you look through the rear view, it feels like you're a lot closer than you are. And if you don't really turn, in some cases, you don't feel like there's a back seat. So I think they did a great job with that. I'd like to thank George here at Audi of Clearwater for giving us this 2022 Audi SQ5 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button. Check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.